Here we go. We're starting. And
all right, this is the World of Odyssey podcast. We have Phil Lollar with us, and he is on what?
I am on what? I'm on Zoom. What do you mean? What am I on what?
Well, what show do you do?
You mean Adventures in Odyssey that you just introduced me as? Yes.
Yeah. And we also have Paul, a new member,
Howdy.
and we have Bree.
Hi.
How about that? Hang on. I'm going to turn on a light here so I can get a little bit more light in this room. Hang on.
Let there be light.
And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light.
That's much better. Whoops.
Did like a cinematic lens flare without even trying.
There we go. Now I'm backlit. That's good. That looks good. That's
So see, you can't hide anything now because we can see you.
I know. And I can't move this chair either because I'll blind you.
Well, you might blind Paul.
Yeah. What, not the rest of you?
No, not me.
Okay. All right, so let's do this. What is it that you all would like to know?
Paul, since you're our new member, you can go first.
Okay, just pretty basic question. Maybe you get asked it all the time. What's your favorite episode that you were involved with?
My favorite episodes, I don't really have a favorite episode because it's too hard to pick. They're all my children. And that would be very, very difficult. It'd be like picking a favorite child. So there's some that I really, really like, and there's some that I really, really don't like, but I still love them. So just like children, there may be sometimes when I don't like them, and there may be sometimes, but I love them all. So
yeah,
there's some that are definitely were definitely more fun to watch than others. Like Someone to Watch Over Me was a lot of fun to work on, and The Last Great Adventure of the Summer was fun to work on, and some of the stuff with the Imagination Station, the history episodes, those are always fun to work on. I enjoy all of them, though. I don't really have a favorite.
When we interviewed Jimmy Barkley, he said that Someone to Watch Over Me was his favorite one, and he also told me that he was he auditioned for it, but for the movie role, but he got cut. They said no. Is there a reason for that?
Well, the movies were made by a different department than we were, so the character was a different character too. It wasn't Jimmy Barkley in the movie. It was somebody else in the movie. It was Dylan, who was in the animated movies. So in the animated show, so that was a different character, but. And that was an ongoing character too, so that may have been the reason why.
Now, if you had any adventures with Jimmy, would you bring him back or keep him out of the show?
I don't make those decisions. That's not up to me. They did bring him back, I believe, and he was older at that point when they brought him back. Maybe it may have been just David Griffin, the actor. It may not have been Jimmy Barkley, that character that they brought back. But I don't know. I wasn't there when that happened. So, we have no plans. Let's put it that way. We have a lot of characters we had to service. To bring back old characters, that would be very, very difficult.
Can you give us if we keep it a secret? Can you tell us new characters?
When you say. If we keep it a secret on a podcast, I don't believe you.
Oh, come on.
So no, I can't.
What was that, Paul?
I said, what's old Jimmy up to? I'm just interested. Maybe like he got back together with Lightning Livingston or something.
Yeah, that's all a possibility. The Barkley family moved out of Odyssey, so once you move out of Odyssey, it's kind of hard to keep track of where everybody's going.
He's not really even with his family though, right?
There's a lot of people. I don't know. I don't really know. I have not kept up with the Barkleys.
Can I be an Odyssey character?
No.
Oh man.
Why do you ask these questions if you know you're about to get hurt? I mean, I don't want to hurt you. Don't ask questions, but you know the answer is going to be no.
He had
Do
to
you think
hear
I could?
the sure no.
Do you think I could be possibly a good actor?
I don't know. I've never heard you act. How would I know that? You got
I
to,
mean,
you got to do a performance.
all right. You give me a character and I'll perform.
Not now.
Why? Because I asked.
No, because I'm tired and I don't want to do that right now. We're talking about other things.
Oh, come on. No.
You pick a character. You do it.
Well, you said you were tired.
Yeah, but it's your podcast. Go ahead and do it. You pick a character.
All right, but Paul, you have to be someone to coerce my character.
All right. Sure. Why not?
Who do you want to be, Paul?
Your best friend, I guess.
Bree, who do you want to be? We're gonna put on a whole show for you.
Okay.
I never said I wanted to act. I'm a mother and a wife. That's enough.
Let me give you some background information that probably will inform you about acting and about what we do in terms of actors. So Adventures in Odyssey is a union show, which means you have to belong to the actors union and you have to live in California, basically. So to be a character on the show, those are two big obstacles that you have to overcome right away. Then you have to be a very experienced voice actor. Got to be able to do a lot of really good voice acting stuff. Got to be on the caliber of Katie Lee and Will Ryan and Andre Stoika and Jess Harnell. Got to be on that level to be able to do stuff. So, are you
Unless
on that
you
level?
could live
Do
in
you meet
Arizona.
all of those requirements?
I mean, I could.
Could you? You know how much it costs to join the union?
Over $1,000.
Oh, much more than that. Much, much, much more than that.
So basically, my whole bank account.
Yeah, it's a pretty thankless thing. You have to. It's not something you can do in your spare time. Let's put it that way.
So it's a lot of work.
It is a very lot of work. Very lot of work. Most of our actors are professional actors. They spend all day, every day auditioning. So they spend 8 hours, like when a normal job for them is just auditioning. They get a lot of auditions. They get auditions. So they'll do 20, 30 auditions a day. Maybe they'll book one.
One?
Maybe they'll book one out of all that work. And a lot of times they'll audition all week long and not get anything. Not work at all for a long time. So it's a pretty rough life, I can tell you. It's not an easy one.
Yeah, that's what Dave Griffin said. He said it's hard to get on the show.
Yeah, it's hard to get on the show. It's hard to get on any show, not just Odyssey. It's hard to get on any show. It's very difficult.
What other shows have you done? Have you produced?
Oh, well, I produced Jungle Jam and Friends, the radio show, and I produced my own series called Iliad House. I've got a series called Iliad House that I produced that I'm stuff on, and I've got let's see what else we produced. We did Little Dogs on the Prairie. That's another one that we did. That's a video series, and so I was on
Penguins.
Paws and Tails. No, I wouldn't. Stop. Sorry about that. Alexa wanted to take over. So I worked on Paws and Tails. I worked on Corner, just about everything that's out there. Lamplighter, a lot of Lamplighter stuff. I've done a lot of cartoons. I worked on Tom and Jerry. I worked on Space Racers and Mr. Min Show and a lot of stuff. The Little Angels for Roma Downey. A lot of different shows.
Which is your favorite one?
I don't have favorites. I'll tell you which one. I had the most fun doing, that was Jungle Jam. Jungle Jam by far had the most fun doing it. Because
Jungle Jam used to come
we'd
on
sit there all night and
before
tell
Adventures in Odyssey.
jokes to each other. Then write them
I
down.
I always remember the episode about clunking.
Oh yeah, that's probably the best known episode is the clunking.
Oh yeah.
I just heard that the other day. I wanted to take a clip from it for a class I was teaching. Oh, yeah, that was a lot of fun. I remember that.
Have either of you, Bree or Charlie, ever heard of clunking?
Not till now.
Just say no.
You've got to get the Jungle Jam episodes. You can hear the Jungle Jam episodes.
Speaking of, did Jungle Jam and Adventures in Odyssey ever collide with each other?
Not collide, but we did kind of poke fun at each other a lot. So Millard the monkey used to say things like, I want the same contract that Connie has." Stuff like that. And I think that they actually walked in. We actually had Whit and Eugene and Connie walk into the Jungle Jam studio at one point, and as we were recording, and we had some fun with that too.
Yeah, I heard that on YouTube.
That was a lot of fun.
So why did they not get a new Eugene character after he died?
Well, it's very expensive to do recaster, which is the AI voice thing that we do. So for him, we've had Eugene come back on a couple of times since Will passed on. But we'll see what happens. Never say never. We'll see what happens.
That was one of our fans' questions.
It's a question we get a lot. We'll see what happens.
I think I could do it.
What was that, Charles?
I think I could try it.
You could try it. You could try anything. Anybody can try anything.
All I need is a soundboard.
Whether it will happen or not, well, that's a different matter.
Bree, what was your question?
Why Adventures in Odyssey?
Why the title?
Why the title, and how did you be?
How did I start it? How did I do? Well,
yeah.
The title came about because I created the series with Steve Harris. We were working on it, and I created the series and wrote a lot of the history of the series, the history of Wit, and the history of Wit's End, the town of Odyssey, and I didn't know what to call it. In fact, I didn't even know what to call the town at first. And then I was at home in my office at home at that point, and I was lying on the floor trying to think of a title, and I looked over at my bookcase, and there was a book in my bookcase called A Delegate's Odyssey. I thought, oh, that's it, right there, Odyssey. We'll call it Odyssey. And then the first title was Odyssey USA, but we didn't want to limit the United States. We also had Canada. We also had folks in the family in Canada as well. So we changed it, and I called it Adventures in Odyssey instead.
Wow.
Paul, you got any questions?
Not at the but talking. I'll come up with something.
Are you a musician, Paul?
Yeah, I do.
Musical instruments in your sphere there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul, play us the theme song for Adventures in Odyssey.
Oh, maybe another time.
What kind of music do you write?
It's kind of like just original singer-songwriter stuff, kind of working on more studio albums right now.
I see. Is it popular music, rock and roll, or country, or what?
Probably more rock, alternative,
Alternative rock. That's cool. That's good. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll link you guys to some stuff later on.
Okay, that's cool. So what else?
When are you
anything?
gonna update the official guide?
That's a good question. I don't know. We have a lot of other things that we're working on right now. We need to. It's badly out of date, so we probably need to do that fairly quickly. We talked to Marshall Younger about that, but that would not be a project that's on the front burner of everything. We have the club now, and you get a lot of the history off of the club. So I don't know if they're going to publish another book. It would all depend on the publishing company and whatnot. So we'll see.
Are there gonna be any more Dr. Blackbird books?
There are. I'm finishing up the last one right now. Last one in the series. There should be 9 all total. I think 5 of them are out, and there are 4 more.
Yeah, I have all 5 right now.
Yeah, they're it starts getting heavy duty. Now it really gets into the heavy duty part of the Blackbird saga.
You know what you should write? You should write the Novacom Saga books.
Oh, that would be really a long project.
It's a thought, right?
It's a thought. Yeah, I thought about that. I thought about that maybe we should do that. Maybe we will. We'll see. We'll see. Depends on how well the Blackbird books sell. They sell well, there's no one doing one of those kinds of things.
Are you gonna make any more Odyssey movies?
Well, there's stuff in the works right now, as a matter of fact. So yes, I believe that is in the works.
Are we talking cartoon movies or
Yeah,
live action?
it's animation,
Oh,
animated. So I don't know how much I can say about it, but I will tell you it's in the works.
boy.
You hear that? It'll be in the work, guys.
What else?
What actor do you miss that if was on the old shows?
Oh, I miss all the ones who were on the old shows. The old shows. Yeah, I guess you can say that now since it's nearly 40 years. Um, I miss Dave Madden. He was a wonderful guy. I miss Hal Smith. Hal was a lovely person. All of them have gone. Hal Walker, uh, Dave Madden, Harley Bear, Will Ryan, Earl Bowen. I mean, they're all gone now, but I loved working with every single one of them. They were wonderful people. Alan Young, fantastic guy, what a great guy. Um, so they're all of them are really special people. They were really wonderful people, and they were people that I always wanted to work with because I watched them on television when I was a kid. That's how long they had been around. That's how long I had been around, and they had been around. We got all these actors from 1960s television shows and put them all on Odyssey.
And Griffith, yeah.
Yeah, it's been amazing time when I could go back and say, "Oh my goodness, yeah, I loved you when you were on that show and on this show and on that other show." My favorite shows growing up was Star Trek, the original series, and I loved Star Trek and
Yes.
didn't even realize that all those years that Walker Edmiston did so many of the voices when like all this outer space creatures and stuff. He did a lot of the voice work on that show, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, why didn't I talk to him about that?" So by the time I got around to talking to him about it, he was gone.
Yeah.
Was it fun recording Legacy Part 1 and 2?
Yeah, it was. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed. That was kind of a showcase for the Saguaro sisters. I wish they could have stayed in the United States, but they decided they didn't want to do the musical group thing anymore. Um, so they kind of split up, and which was too bad because they were. I think they were very, very talented. I really enjoyed their stuff.
Did you get to sing in Legacy in the recording studio?
I did. I'm part of the group stuff. I sing a lot in that episode.
Yeah, I saw you singing.
So we had to have whenever there's a group thing, I'm always a part of that.
Yeah, I saw you singing, but I couldn't hear you over all the actors.
That's because you actually could hear me, but I'm really good at blending in. That's very true. I mean, that's a joke, but it's not really a joke because a good singer has to know how to blend in. So the voices, you add power and you add volume and texture to the singing without really having to stand out because you don't want to stand out too much. I learned that when I used to sing in choirs, a lot of choirs when I toured with choral groups when I was in college, and when I went to college in Texas, we toured all over the Texas and all over the United States in these choral groups. And I realized you realize pretty on early on that there are certain people who have solo voices that are going to be the soloists, and there are other people who blend together, who know how to really blend together to make the choral sound full. And I realized I was not going to be a soloist, but I could do the blending in really really well. So that's what I did. That's what I do
Speak,
now. I do that to this day. I've sung in a lot of different videos, a lot of different productions, and a lot of musicals. So still do it.
speaking of the sorority sisters, how many takes did it take for Jules Kendall to sing Some Little Corner?
It didn't take her very long at all. She's very professional. She's very 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 good at that. So it didn't take her very long to do that. Um, I think she probably did a couple of passes, maybe three passes, and got it all down.
That's
What was
become
kind
one
of
of my
the
favorites.
Yeah, she's good. She's very good. She's very talented.
What was that, Paul?
what was the inspiration for that group? Like, kind of like
What
supposedly.
happened with them was Shona, her name was Kennedy back then. She got married. Or now it's Shona Rodman. But she entered the Get in the Show contest. They had a Get in the Show contest several years back, 15 or 2 years back or so, 10 years back or so. And she entered it and she won. And so they add that's where the character of Jules Kindle came from. And so they had her in there, and while she was there, her parents, her mother and her sister came. And Will was sitting in the green room. Will Ryan had his ukulele. He always had a ukulele with him, and so he was playing songs, and he would play older songs, um, and they knew them. The the Kennedys all knew these songs, and so they would get together and they would start singing. And Will was like really enamored with them, and rightfully so, because they were very good. And so they did three-part harmony and all sorts of stuff. And Will was getting into country music at that point. He was getting into his country phase, writing a lot of country and western songs. And so he created the Saguaro Sisters as a background group. Will sort of did that. He created them, gave them the name, and then they appeared on a bunch of records. I think he did 3 or 4 records with them, and they appeared, did a lot of things in a lot of places, and then so I did the legacy shows to have them be a part of the legacy shows, and then when we did the 30th anniversary celebration at the on the Disney the Disney cruise ship, um, they came with us on that and part of the celebration and the show on that. So it was a lot of fun. They're very very talented singers, but they've kind of all gone their separate ways now. Again, Mom and Katrona, she got married and she now has 2 children, and so she's down in Australia with her family, and so is Mom, and Shona's now in Colorado Springs. She's not in Colorado Springs. She's in Pueblo. She lives there with her husband. So people grow up, they move on. What happens? That's life.
Will Buck and Jules get married?
Oh, I can't tell you that.
But yes, no, just kidding.
I can't tell you that. I would be very, very, very vilified if I did that. I actually don't know. I really don't. I don't. We haven't thought that far ahead yet. We got a lot of other things we got to take care of first.
I would love to see that happen.
Yeah? Why?
Because they're such a cute couple.
Are they?
I think so.
Okay, you say so. What makes them a cute couple?
They disagree on things. They argue a lot.
That's what makes a cute couple?
No. That's what doesn't make them a good couple.
I see. I see. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. They're very popular. We know that.
The one thing I would love to have in support to them is they become Christians.
Well, we'll see what happens. Got to keep listening.
You're saying like that, like it's gonna happen.
I can't tell you anything about it.
It's
Did you just
Odyssey.
wink a little
Anything's
bit?
possible.
The Odyssey, it's possible. It's also possible if they won't.
Because I know there for a while they were faking it, faking the Christian stuff.
They did for a while. They may still be faking it. Never can tell.
You're
Gotta keep
playing,
listening.
you're playing mind games with me.
Gotta keep listening.
I would love more Imagination Station episodes. That'd be fun.
Yeah, we did. We've done a couple of them recently. I think there was one about Moses, and I think our new writer Abby Geiger, she has a couple in the works.
Like Bucker Jules going to Imagination Station.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be an interesting thing. I don't. It all depends. We don't. It really depends on the needs of the story. So we don't really do a lot of things where wouldn't it be interesting if a character went into the imagination station? It really depends on the needs of the story more than anything else.
So why wasn't Aloha Oi more of a storyline? When it only had 3 parts?
Yeah. What you mean? You wanted to have more?
Yeah.
I don't think there was much more to do. Everybody did what they were supposed to do, and then they all went home. Wasn't anything else to say? Wasn't Lawrence got together with his dad, and that's about it.
He was hoping Rodney and Donna would get together.
Yeah, you guys love the romance thing. I don't. That's the most mail we get is on the romance stuff. Romance.
And it's not even a romance show.
I know.
Really?
Everybody wants Connie to get married, and everybody wants Buck and Jules to get together, and Donna and Rodney, and okay, whatever. Those are the most.
Connie's just an old spinster.
Those are the least interesting shows to me. I have to tell you.
Connie's turning into a spinster for sure.
Spinster? What do you mean spinster? She does lots
I know
of things.
she doesn't have an age.
She does lots of things.
Now, was Mandy's debut like an actual live stage show performed in Colorado?
I don't know. I wasn't around when Mandy did with Mandy's debut. I was on a sabbatical at that point. So I don't know.
So that had to be another person question.
Yeah, that'll have to be a question for somebody else.
Like Paul McCusker.
Yeah, if you can get him.
I've been trying to.
He's very busy.
We're also trying to get Jess Harnell and Kimmy Robertson together to do a podcast.
That would if you could do that, boy, you're good for you.
We're thinking.
Jess is very exclusive.
What do you mean exclusive?
He's very busy, first of all, so he doesn't have time to do a lot of podcasts. So, but you try. You keep trying. That's the only thing you can do is keep trying.
What is he doing nowadays?
He does everything. If you watch any cartoon show, Jess is probably on it.
Yeah.
Animaniacs.
He's one of those guys
Maniacs.
who works a lot all the time, constantly working. One of those few guys who does that. We're very fortunate that he has time for us.
Is he still a mailman?
He likes us. He likes it. So, well, Wooten is. I don't know about Jess. I don't know. I don't think Jess delivers mail.
Does he still do Powerboy, Wooten?
I think so. I don't know. I don't really write for Wooten. There's a lot of other folks who write for Wooten. I don't really write for him very much.
Can you tell us who you do write for, or?
Yeah, I write for Maury and Suzu, and I write for Renee, and I write for Wit, and I write for Connie, and I write for a lot of them. They're just a lot of characters, and other people take their storylines and they work with those characters. I don't really write for Buck and Jules. That's more Kathy's domain. She likes to write that storyline. She's taken that storyline.
Is the Parker family still in Odyssey?
Olivia is. The Parker family is. We just don't hear from them anymore. They've moved to the other side of town.
Like Connellsville?
No, just the other side of Odyssey. There are a lot of all those characters are still in Odyssey. Bernard is still there. We just don't hear from him anymore.
You go to the other wits end.
No, that's in Connellsville. I know it's gonna do that place probably closed down by now.
I was looking on fan pages online on Facebook, and there's one called the Adventures in Odyssey Strip Club.
Oh, yeah, I'm
What?
sure. There's always going to be people who want to take it and degrade it.
Bree, tell him what you were wanting to say about in Eugene about the strip club thing.
Oh, it just,
I had
I
no
was like,
talk
when he
about
told me
this.
that, I was like, I can't picture Wit, Tom, Bernard, Wooten, Eugene as like Chippendale dancers. That just doesn't,
Oh,
that's so not Wit's
that's a
character or anything like that.
no, that's a mental picture nobody needs.
And I'm thinking like Chris Farley's SNL
Yeah, nobody
thing
needs
of that,
What podcast
just
am I
not.
on right now?
Nobody needs that. Nobody needs that.
You're on the Adventures in Odyssey podcast, Paul.
We'll edit this part out.
Well, Phil Lollar has the footage, so
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm going to send it to you. It's not going to stay on my computer.
I do
I may-
find that
go ahead.
I think it's interesting that because like I got my husband into Odyssey, listening to Adventures in Odyssey, and we were going through, and Chris and Katie Lee are the only two that were like from the original,
Oh yeah,
like way back,
yeah,
because unfortunately Will Ryan died.
yeah.
You replaced Wit because actors
Ah.
pass on and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty remarkable accomplishment for the two of them. Yeah, like I said, Chris has been there from the beginning of Adventures in Odyssey. Katie was there with Family Portraits. She played a couple of things in Family Portraits, so she was even before Adventures in Odyssey. Although Family Portraits took place in Odyssey, but so yeah, they've been there since the very beginning. Since right from the get-go.
Yeah.
Was Sergeant York the real when you guys told that story?
Yeah, he's a real guy.
Good story too.
Yeah, World War One. You should see the movie. There's a movie
Yeah.
called Sergeant York. It's a really great movie.
Was it who played him again?
Gary Cooper, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. It was
Yeah.
a good one.
Walter Brennan is in it. Gary Cooper. And it's a really good movie. Very good movie. He was a pretty incredible guy. Pretty incredible guy.
Is it always lively in the studio?
Pretty much. Yeah, we try to keep it that way. We want them to have fun. We want them to come back. So we want the experience to be a good experience for them. And I think they all have fun. We record in what's called family style. So everybody's in the same room and they're reacting to each other. A lot of times that doesn't happen. So there are a lot of animated shows, for instance, that I've worked on where it's just me. I walk in and I do all my lines, and then I leave. And then the next actor walks in by himself and does all his lines and leaves. So when you do family style, you get everybody together and everybody performs this. It makes for a better performance. We like that.
Any fun fights break out?
No. Everybody loves each other.
Do they have like a crowd
We have fights in
Snack
the,
table.
we have fights in the booth. Yeah, I'm punching the production all the time, man. I'm punching their heads. They're knocking me around. We're throwing each other. I throw chairs at them and I hit them in the face. I stab them with pencils. No, we have a lot of fun.
Paul, what was your question?
Do they have a craft services snack table in there?
Yeah, the studio itself they set out snacks and stuff, but they're Salami Studios is where we record, and they set out a lot of stuff.
Oh, cool.
Then we go to there some actors will stay over into the afternoon. We order them lunch.
So you guys paid for their lunch.
Oh yeah, we're not stingy.
Man, now I really need to get part of that Odyssey cast.
Yeah, how about you paying my lunch right now on this podcast and paying for my meal?
We'll send you a postcard.
Yeah, sure.
I'll take you out to lunch.
can't
Shall I
eat
go
a-
to Tucson sometimes?
I can't eat a postcard.
We'll send you a postcard with a gift card in it to where you want to eat.
Sure, that's fine.
Because Bree and I were actually talking about doing it to people we have on the podcast.
Yeah, it's all right. You know, we like being on your podcast. It's fine.
So I guess we don't have to do that, Bree.
Nope, you're good. You're good.
Paul, is this your first time doing a podcast?
Probably not the first time, but this Odyssey one, yes.
What do you think of it so far, interviewing this guy?
It's interesting, you know. I have questions, but it seems like you guys kind of ask them before I get a chance to, so I'll have to write them down.
Well, I'll be quiet and you can ask away.
Oh, sure. Well, I guess I'll ask one, then you can ask one. But so, what's your process, Phil, of getting your writing down? Do you like have legal pads, or do you just use a computer?
I use a lot of different things. I go from different method to method. Sometimes it's all on a computer. I bought a whiteboard for my home office so I could write on a whiteboard, which I really enjoy doing. Writing down ideas and trying to put things together. And then I have stacks of legal pads, white pad, yellow and white paper,
Oh,
all over the place. Believe me, it's all around me. And it's just got notes and notes and notes and notes and all sorts of stuff. So problem is you start writing too many notes. If you walk away from them, you forget they're there, and then you got to go back and take a look at the notes that you've written. So I'm very bad about that. And then I also use electronic devices. So my phone, the little notepad on my phone is just filled with ideas and filled with, there's snatches of dialogue. I'll get something in my head that I really like, the dialogue for a script, and I'll write it down really quickly, or I'll use the voice recorder for it and write it all down very quickly, and then translate that over into a script. So different things, different methods.
so it doesn't start out like script format, but you have to like.
Oh no! It always starts out with idea first. It's usually idea. A lot of it is thematic, so there's different ways of doing this. You could write a character thing, let's put this character in a situation, or you could write something that's very plot driven. So here's a story of an event that happened, and here's the characters that we'll have in that event. But a lot of times it's thematic. We want to tell a story about lying or about cheating or about, we want to tell a story about those themes. And what unique way can we do that? How can we do that in a unique way that we haven't done before, that nobody's done before? And so that's and so then we have different story arcs too. There will be a lot of times there's a story arc, and we just have to figure out who are the players, who's going to be in the players, what's going to happen with them, and how they're gonna work out. So Lori and Suzu have their own little story arc going, and so we have to progress them to a certain place. We have to know where they're going. So it's different for different stories. We've done a lot of arcs lately, a lot of story arcs, long form story arcs, multi-episode story arcs, and we're sort of like, we need to kind of get back to some of the more one-off, 1 and 2 parters, and telling those kinds of stories. So we'll see if it's worth the story arc, yeah. But we only have 24 episodes a year, and so we don't want to take up too many of them with one particular story arc.
When are you going to make the albums longer again?
Yeah, a lot of people ask that. I mean, I'm all for it, but that all depends on the budget people and the monetary people, the executives. They have to approve a budget, and so we'll see. If we have the bandwidth, it takes a lot to produce 24 episodes. That takes a lot of effort, a lot of time, and to think, Paul McCusker and I used to do 40 episodes a year. Instead of the 24, we do 40. I think the most we ever did was 48 episodes. They wanted one a week from us right from the get-go, and that's like that. That's a lot of work. But so the two of us used to do a lot of the scripting in the early days. We used to do as many as we could possibly get into the pipeline. But now it's a bit more. We backed off on the amount that we're going to put out. So, and then half of those have to go on the club, and half of them are on the regular podcast. So it goes back to that's divided in half too.
Paul, you said you wanted to ask another one?
I'm still thinking, but yeah. Still just enamored how script writing goes. Like I always wanted to get a hold of an old script or something like that.
You should take my course.
Oh, really? You have one?
I've been doing a lot of teaching. I taught for 10 years at Azusa Pacific University, and I taught script writing and storytelling. And
Is it
we
free?
just we just did a no, we did no, it's not free. We just did a John Fornoff and Kathy Buchanan and I just did a week-long scripting thing what you call the Writers Recharge. So that was back in September. We're gonna do more of them. I think we'll probably do another one in the spring.
Did you go to the 1001 grand party?
Oh yeah, I was there.
How fun was that?
It was a lot of fun. It was overwhelming. It was really overwhelming. I mean, there was a lot of stuff there, a lot of my material, stuff that I wrote when I created Odyssey on legal pads, talking about legal pads and typewritten stuff and whatnot. That I wrote, and I hadn't seen it in, for me, almost 30. That's 38 years for me. I hadn't seen any of that stuff for that long. I can't believe they kept it, but they have it out on display. This was the early stuff that I go, wow, pretty amazing. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. The show itself was a lot of fun. It's always great meeting fans. It's always great meeting the people who come up and they want to talk to you and they want a book signed or they want an autograph or something. That's always really wonderful to hear their stories and how much the program has meant to them over the years. So that's been phenomenal. It was really great. It was one grand party. It was one grand party.
And the actual live show is coming to the club, right?
I don't know. We haven't decided yet.
Well, Marshall Younger said that it might be coming 2025.
Okay. Well, he's the guy who would know.
I just want it to come now.
Well, you have to be patient.
Because the highlights that I watched on the club were amazing.
A big part of Odyssey listening is patience. That's what we try to tell. That's what we try to teach everyone.
I don't have patience.
Patience. Learn. Good things come to those who wait.
I don't have patience, as you can tell.
I know. That's why you don't get good things.
Like being on Odyssey.
See, there you go. There you go.
I think Paul could be on Odyssey.
On the podcast? Sure, why not?
No, on the show.
The podcast show.
Like you could write the music for Odyssey.
Oh, that would be fun. John Campbell. Love that dude's work on there.
Yeah. John and Jared DePasquale, he's doing really great stuff for us.
Oh, maybe we could get them on the show one day.
If I will say this, and this will probably either make you happy or sad. John was there for the one grand party. He did all of his stuff live, and he is brilliant. It's wonderful. It was amazing to watch him. It was just amazing to watch him work because he had all of his instruments, even all of his keyboards and stuff, and all the sounds and everything was coming out of it. It was incredible. It was incredible to watch. So hopefully you'll be able to see all that one day. But maybe not. Maybe not. Oh well. Should have been there.
Give us free tickets next time.
Free tickets? No. What's this free stuff? You got to earn it, man.
We have you on the podcast. You should give us free tickets.
I never said that. You got to earn it.
Well, you got to say that now. You got to say, I will give you free tickets if you do this.
I would never say that. Because you have to pay. You have to earn it. You have to get in there. You have to go out and work for the things you want. It's free stuff. Your generation, you want freebies. No. Work.
I got a phone for working hard.
Work is good.
This is my phone from working hard.
Yeah? You bought that phone with your hard-earned money, did you?
Yep, from the flower shop.
Good. There you go. That's a noble thing.
Anything else that you want to tell us? Like any secrets?
No, I'm not going to tell you secrets. Why would I tell you secrets?
Because we will keep it a secret.
No,
I'll
you
edit
won't.
it
This
out.
is a podcast. You're not going to keep stuff secret on a podcast.
I'll edit it out.
Yeah, I don't trust you.
You
I
can
guess it'd be
trust
like
me.
a very,
I've been there before. You podcasters.
What did you say,
Charles
Paul?
doesn't have patience, but he is persistent.
Yeah. Well,
Paul, what'd you say?
I was just wondering, like, is there any like ideas that you've been, and I wouldn't ask what they are, but like, is there any ideas that you've been sitting on for like a very, very, very long time? Like, and if so, how long?
well, the Young Wit books was an idea that I had from a long, long, long time ago, and that took a long time. That took like 20 years before we finally actually did them.
Oh wow!
So
I have one with me right now.
yeah, no. We've got 5 of them published. Number 6 was just completed. It's now in manuscript form, and I'm working on number 7. So we'll continue with those. But yeah, that was a project that took a long time to get to come to fruition. But we're finally glad
Give
it did.
birth.
Yeah, it took a long time.
I promise you, on my life, I will edit it out if you give us one secret.
I don't have any secrets. I'm yanking your chain. I don't have any secrets. There are no secrets.
It's Odyssey. You can't keep secrets.
The show is the show. Gotta
Wit
keep
won't let you keep secrets.
listening. That's right.
He would get it out of you.
Can't do it. Can't let you. Can't do it.
Maybe we should have Wit on the podcast and he'll tell me.
Uh-huh. Maybe. If you can get him, Andre Stoika.
Shona Kennedy says she would come on.
There you go. Maybe Shona will tell you some secrets.
Maybe some of hers.
I don't think so, though. I don't.
Maybe some of her secrets.
Maybe. She doesn't have any secrets.
Well, except
if she does, she's really good at keeping them.
why? Because she hasn't told you.
That's right. Because I don't know if you have them.
Who's the oldest character on the show?
The oldest character?
Like the oldest actor?
Oh, you're the oldest actor. That's a difference between the oldest character and the oldest actor. It's a toss-up between. It's a toss-up between Wit and Full House. It's a
Sorry.
toss-up between Wit and Detective Full House. Those two.
Now, who's the older character?
Wit. Of those two, Wit is the older. Believe it or not, there's a character who's older than Wit.
Who's that?
I'm not going to tell you.
You won't tell us, but you say there's one character older than Wit?
Yeah, but I'm not going to tell you who it is.
Let me guess. I gotta find out and keep listening.
If we know Odyssey, should we know this answer?
Maybe.
Okay.
Paul, do you have an idea?
I have to think about it for a second or two.
I would say it's. I had it on the tip of my tongue, but I lost it. Can you give us the first letter?
Nope.
Would we guess it too easily?
Maybe.
Leonard Meltzer.
Oh, I don't know if he's older than Wit. I don't know how old Leonard Meltzer is.
But that's not the character.
But that's not who I'm thinking of, no.
How old is the character Wit?
Well, Odyssey is Brigadoon, so Wit maybe is like 40 years old.
Wow.
He does not sound 40.
I don't think he's
That
40.
is young.
He's not 40. You know, Wit is, it's like I said, Odyssey's Brigadoon, so people stop aging at a certain point.
Okay, I know you can Wit dance.
Have we ever had him dance before?
I think on an old podcast episode, one of the guys asked can Wit dance, and they showed him a video of it.
Maybe. I don't know. I've never seen Andre dance, if that's who you're talking about.
No, I'm talking about Hal Smith.
Hal could do anything. Hal was an all-around entertainer. He could do anything.
Could you do a front flip?
He could do anything. Hal did a lot of acrobatic stuff. He did a lot of great stuff in his prime, not when he was with us. He was much older when he was with us. But if you've ever watched the Andy Griffith Show, and when he was Otis the Drunk, he did a lot of stunts in that show. So yeah, he was, in fact, and he did a lot of stunts. He was in a movie called The Great Race, which was a really fun movie with Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon, and Jack Lemmon hit him over the head. He was the mayor of Baracho. The mayor of Baracho is a small town in a small western town. He was hilarious, and he was great in it. But he got hit over the head with a key. Hal did a lot of stuff. He did a lot of work. He's a well-rounded person. He got to start in vaudeville, got to start on the stage in vaudeville, and then moved through radio, television, movies, a little bit. You know.
Bree, you've been quiet this a lot.
I'm just soaking it all in.
All right, guys, we've been going here for a little while, so maybe we need to wrap this up soon.
I mean, if no one has anything else to say, Paul, anything?
Well, maybe you could talk just a little bit about the Twilight Zone and the Twilight Zone. How they kind of how one was kind of fun for the show, and then like one inspired a lot of episodes. So
Yeah. The Twilight Zone, which the Rod Serling series,
right?
was a great series. It's one of the classics of television, and it's an anthology type show. So there's different episodes, different new actors in every. It's not an ongoing character thing. It's new characters in every episode, and that's a really good. That's a really good example of writing short fiction pieces. Okay, so there's one idea in each episode. There's one big twist in each episode. It's not several twists and turns. There's one big twist, and that's what I wanted for the Twilight Zone too. The Twilight Zone, that was another thematic show. So we wanted to deal with drug abuse, not call it drug abuse. How do you talk about how do you talk about not getting? How do you talk about addiction? About calling it drug addiction, or smoking or anything else that you could become addicted to. So the most absurd thing was a toy chicken. a talking toy chicken. So
do you still have that?
So I'm sorry.
You played that chicken, right?
I played that chicken. I did.
Can you do a little bit of them for us?
If I remember correctly, he was very much like a Super Chicken. I think he was very much like this. He would talk like this. Do what I ask you to do. Do what I want you to do. Do this. Do that. Yes, you can.
The parts where he's just like, "Don't leave me" or something like that.
Don't leave me. Don't leave me.
Henny, I'm gonna leave you here and go to school.
Don't leave me. Don't. Take me with you.
Take me with you. Yeah, that was the creepy part right there.
Okay, fine, but you better be quiet.
Yeah. Always fun to create great characters and do character voices. That's one of the most fun things in the show.
All right, are we gonna wrap it up here?
I think we should wrap it up.
All right, you've been watching the World of Odyssey podcast with my guest, Phil Lollar, Paul.
Great to be here. Great to be here.
And Bree.
Thanks for having me.
And that's wraps.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Phil. Pleasure talking to you guys.
Pleasure talking to you too. Let me see. How do I stop recording? There we go. Stop recording.